I told myself I wasn't gonna talk anymore about the IDW Monster High series unless they did like a Halloween special or something, and they did. Like immediately after I said that, I realized that they totally have a Halloween special. So I got it mostly so I could keep my word. If you've seen my other videos on the IDW Monster High series that's coming out right now, I'm not the biggest fan, but Halloween and Monster High make so much sense, so I'm gonna talk about the story and my thoughts and feelings. So we're just gonna jump into it. Hopefully this won't be a super long video, but yeah, let's get into it. So this issue follows the ghouls as they attend a carnival for Halloween happening at Monster High. So we open up with Claudine and Frankie talking about the carnival and how the prize for winning the costume contest is a howlin, like a howling owl, like a screech owl. Anyway, I don't really like the puns a lot in this issue. I love the puns of Monster High, but they just weren't hitting that much for me in this. Not the point. But we do learn that Claudine has done the costumes for most of the ghouls and boys, but she's made most of her friends' costumes for the contest, and they're all gonna meet up and go to the carnival once school lets out. This issue does spend a bit of time letting us kind of see all the ghouls' costumes either directly in the story or in the background. So like Claudine as Red Riding Hood. I'm pretty sure they have a doll where she's dressed as Red Riding Hood, but also it reminds me of Cerise Hood from Ever After High, which is cool. Frankie's a detective, Golia's Deadfast. The boys have their own costumes, so like Deuce is a gladiator, Manny is a cowboy, Claude is a wolf in sheep's clothing, which is probably my favorite costume, and also probably my favorite like pun or joke in the issue. We also see Draculaura, who is dressed as like a princess or Marie Antoinette or a vampire. I'm not really sure what she's meant to be, but the comic establishes the costume contest and makes a point of saying that Cleo's outfit is not made by Claudine. She ordered it from Paris, or Scaris as it's known in Monster High. I feel like that's a reference to the movie, but they also just mention Scaris a lot throughout the franchise. Cleo herself is dressed as a black cat, which I thought was a topical and smart choice because she's currently friends with Meowity and Persephone, who are both werecats. But we follow the ghouls, Claudine, Ghoulia, and Draculaura as they go about the festival for a bit. They ride rides and stuff, and Draculaura is literally at the end of her rope. I feel kind of bad for her character. She's trying so hard to have fun, but she can't relax. She does win X-ray goggles from like a Pin the Tail on the Donkey, but it's actually like Pin the Wing on the Dragon. The story doesn't really like heat up until the group go into a corn maze, which by the way is like one of my favorite fall activities. I love corn mazes. They like make a joke about how weird humans are for liking them, but honestly that's me. But we learn throughout the course of the comic that the corn maze is actually like legitimately haunted or enchanted to show your worst fear. I don't want to get into detail about what any of the ghouls' fears are in particular, but I will say we only really get to see Cleo, Draculaura, Claudine's, and maybe Frankie's. We don't get to see Golia's or any of the boys, which was kind of disappointing. I would have at least liked to have like a panel establishing what theirs were, but ultimately they are only able to escape the corn maze by working together, with Draculaura turning into a bat to guide them out of the corn maze. It then reestablishes the costume contest, and we get Elvira as the host of the costume contest.
Hello, darlings. It's me, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, your glamorous guide to gal ghouls, vampire vixens, and witchy women.
I adore Elvira. She's one of my favorite Halloween icons. Y'all can have the scary clowns and stuff. I love the beautiful Halloween women. That's not the point of this video. Elvira is the host of the costume contest, and she announces the winners. So Claudine pretty much comes in third and first since she made the costumes for the winners, and Cleo comes in second. Then immediately after, Ghoulia shows up and tells everyone that Slow-Mo has disappeared, which if you don't know who Slow-Mo is, he's one of the zombies at Monster High. Everyone tries to find him, but ultimately they're not able to, and I feel like this is really just to tie it into the main story, since monsters going missing are a major plot element of the ongoing series. And that's more or less everything that happens. It's a pretty short story, and not a lot really goes on within it from an action perspective. It's definitely more of like a emotional comic. I like a lot of the ideas that it presents, and I feel like that is the most I can say about this story. I didn't find it particularly enthralling in any direction. I do like the various visual references and seeing the ghouls in their costumes. I also really like the art in this issue. It's a different artist than who's doing the main story, but I do think that both the actual like line art, like the drawings, as well as the colors work really well in tandem with the story to present a great looking Halloween comic. I wish that there was a bit more bite with it or meat on the metaphorical bone. All in all though, the Halloween special was just, I'm not knocking it, it's just fine, at least to me. But this is the part of the video where I say I am not the demographic for Monster High. This book is intended for 9 and up, and although I am certainly up,
I'm old, Gandalf.
I would say I am far beyond the expected demographic for both the comic series and this specific issue. So I can see a lot of people really liking it, especially because it's hard for Monster High to really do horror or anything scary because it is targeted for a younger demographic. The fact that they even try to have a Halloween issue, aside from it just working so well with the brand, I think is a nice idea. I do like conceptually the idea of them using like fears in more of a emotional horror as opposed to like jumping out boo type scary, because how do you scare a monster? I guess psychological horror, but it's, and really I really conceptually like the idea of this issue. I think it was just rushed. They didn't quite have enough pages to really sell it. I just wish there was more. But that's it. That's really all I have to say on this issue. And maybe if they come out with another holiday one, I'll make another video. Or if something groundbreaking happens in the comic and people think I just need to read it, maybe I'll go back and give it another shot. But again, this will be the last Monster High comic video for a while. This might be my last video for October. Hopefully not, but you never know. So have a great Halloween if it hasn't happened on the time of uploading, or if it has, or if you just watch this after the holidays. But have a happy Halloween and have a good night.